Welcome to a tale from the Wild West frontier, where the harsh winds of 1887 Montana carry stories of survival, redemption, and love against all odds. This is the story of Caleb Thorne, a solitary rancher hardened by years of silence, and the two Apache sisters, Ayanna and Kaya, who arrive at his doorstep seeking refuge. What begins as a simple act of kindness evolves into a profound bond of trust, resilience, and unexpected love. Faced with the judgment of a prejudiced society and the weight of his own isolation, Caleb must decide between the safety of his solitary life and the daring promise of a shared future with both women. This narrative, crafted for a 25-minute journey, invites you to sit by the firelight and immerse yourself in a tale of healing, risk, and love that blooms where no one thought it could. Caleb Thorne had lived alone on his ranch near the Bitterroot Valley for over a decade. At 42, his face was etched with lines from the sun and wind, his graying hair tied back under a worn Stetson. The ranch was modest, a wooden cabin with a sagging porch, a corral for his 2 horses, and a small garden he tended out of habit rather than hope. His wife, Eliza, had died of fever years ago, leaving him with a hollow ache that turned to silence over time. The townsfolk of Red Hollow, a nearby settlement, knew him as a man of few words, a shadow who came for supplies and left without lingering. He had no friends, no family, and no dreams, only the rhythm of chores and the endless Montana sky. It was a crisp morning in late September 1887 when the quiet of his life shattered. The sound of hooves approached, faint at first, then urgent. Caleb stepped onto the porch, rifle in hand, squinting into the rising sun. 2 figures emerged from the dust, a young woman leading a horse, and another, younger, limping beside her. They were Apache, their dark hair braided, their clothing a mix of traditional buckskin and tattered cloth. The older one, tall and fierce-eyed, raised a hand in peace. "We seek shelter," she said in halting English. "My sister is hurt. Please." Caleb lowered his rifle, studying them. The older one's name was Ayanna, 26, her voice steady despite exhaustion. The younger, Kaya, 17, clutched her leg, her face pale from a gash that bled through a makeshift bandage. They had fled their tribe after a raid by white settlers left their family dead, their village burned. Ayanna had heard of a lone rancher who might help, a man who kept to himself and owed no allegiance to the town's bigotry. Against his better judgment, Caleb nodded. "Come in. I'll tend to her." He helped Kaya inside, laying her on a cot while Ayanna explained their plight. He cleaned and bandaged Kaya's wound, his hands rough but careful, a skill honed from years of tending livestock. Ayanna watched him, wary but grateful, her pride warring with necessity. "We won't stay long," she said. "Just until she heals." Days turned to weeks. Caleb found himself sharing meals with them, cornbread and venison stew, eaten in silence at first. Ayanna proved resourceful, repairing a fence and teaching Kaya to weave baskets from reeds by the creek. Kaya, despite her injury, had a bright spirit, often humming Apache songs that softened the cabin's starkness. Caleb, unused to company, felt an unfamiliar warmth. He began leaving small gifts, a carved wooden bird for Kaya, a new knife for Ayanna, gestures that spoke what he couldn't. The bond grew slowly. Ayanna shared stories of her people, of the mountains they once called home, while Caleb spoke of Eliza, his voice breaking as he recalled her laughter. Kaya, healing under his care, drew them closer with her innocence, asking questions about the stars and the ranch. One evening, as a storm raged outside, Ayanna sat beside him by the fire. "You're a good man, Caleb," she said. "Why do you live alone?" He hesitated, then admitted, "I forgot how to hope." She touched his hand, a gesture that lingered, and for the first time in years, he felt a spark. But the world beyond the ranch was unforgiving. Word of the Apache sisters reached Red Hollow, and the townsfolk's reaction was swift. Sheriff Amos Tate, a man with a grudge against native tribes, rode out with a posse, demanding Caleb turn them over. "They're fugitives," Tate barked. Likely stole something. Hand them over, or we'll take them by force. Caleb stood firm, his rifle across his chest. They're under my roof. You got no proof. Leave. The standoff ended with Tate's retreat, but not without threats. You'll regret this, Thorn. This ain't your fight. That night, Ayanna confronted Caleb. You risk your life for us. Why? He met her gaze. Because you gave me something to fight for. The admission hung between them, and she leaned in, their lips meeting in a kiss that sealed an unspoken promise. Kaya, sensing the shift, smiled softly. You're our family now, she said, and Caleb, for the first time, didn't recoil from the word. Yet the danger loomed. Tate returned with more men, and a scout reported Apache trackers, relatives of Ayanna and Kaya, searching for them, fearing they'd been captured. Caleb knew isolation couldn't protect them forever. The turning point came at dawn. A raid struck the ranch, Tate's posse from one side, Apache warriors from the other. Caleb, Ayanna, and Kaya fought together, their skills complementing each other. Caleb's steady aim downed two of Tate's men, Ayanna's agility outmaneuvered a warrior, and Kaya, using a slingshot Caleb had made, distracted the attackers. Amid the chaos, Ayanna's uncle, Tahoma, emerged, recognizing her. We thought you dead, he said. She explained their flight, and Tahoma, seeing Caleb's loyalty, called off the attack. Tate, wounded and outnumbered, surrendered. The posse dispersed, and Tahoma offered peace, inviting the sisters back if they chose. But Ayanna and Kaya looked to Caleb. We stay, Ayanna said. With you. Caleb, his heart full, nodded. Then we build something new. The months that followed were a test. Red Hollow shunned them, but Caleb's ranch became a haven. Ayanna and Kaya integrated Apache traditions, dances under the moon, herbs for healing. While Caleb taught them ranching. Their love deepened, unconventional yet unbreakable. In the spring of 1888, they held a quiet ceremony by the creek, vowing to face the world together. The ranch bloomed with life, crops, laughter, and a family where none had been before. As the sun set on September 21, 2025, this tale reminds us that love can grow in the harshest deserts, defying judgment and solitude. Rest now, friends, and let your own hopes find light where least expected.